The island seemed isolated from the world, shrouded in a dense mist that felt almost alive. As the Mystery Inc. boat approached, the silhouettes of ancient mansions emerged among tall, twisted trees surrounded by dense forests. The reason for their visit was clear: to investigate the mysterious disappearances haunting the island's famous summer festival. Rumors of a werewolf lurking in the shadows only added to the sinister atmosphere. Scooby was already trembling with fear, while Shaggy, trying to keep a lighthearted tone, remarked that he'd rather be anywhere else. Yet the group knew that duty called. As they disembarked, they were greeted by Emma, a local guide who seemed nervous and uneasy. She led them to the festival center, where the scene of destruction was undeniable. Daphne immediately noticed deep claw marks on one of the wrecked booths, while Fred, ever observant, pointed out enormous footprints leading into the forest. Velma, holding a detailed map of the island, identified the darkest and most unexplored area, a cave located on the northern side. Everyone agreed that this would be the first step in their investigation. The group decided to follow the footprints into the dense forest, where every step was accompanied by the rustling of leaves and mysterious sounds that seemed to follow them. Shaggy and Scooby, lagging behind, stumbled upon a snack left by a visitor and momentarily got distracted. However, the tranquility was shattered by a long, chilling howl that echoed through the forest, freezing them in fear. They bolted toward the group, nearly knocking over Velma and Fred as they arrived, their faces painted with sheer terror. The footprints led them to a clearing where they came upon the entrance to a dark and ominous cave. Daphne noticed deep scratches on the rock surrounding the entrance, while Velma examined fragments of fabric caught on nearby branches. Scooby, hesitant, sniffed something strange and began barking into the cave's darkness. Fred decided there was no choice but to enter. The group organized themselves, flashlights in hand, and cautiously began exploring the shadowy interior of the place. Inside the cave, the atmosphere was even more intimidating than they had imagined. The cold was biting, and the echo of their footsteps heightened the tension. Velma discovered ancient inscriptions on the walls, mentioning creatures of the night and mysterious local legends. Fred examined a tuft of fur stuck to a rock, while Daphne followed footprints that abruptly disappeared. Shaggy and Scooby stumbled over a pile of bones, letting out screams so loud that something seemed to stir in the darkness. The group froze, alert to any movement around them. Suddenly, a shadow darted past the cave entrance, provoking a moment of panic. Fred quickly organized the team to exit and avoid any ambush. Outside, Emma was waiting, her expression one of sheer terror. She reported seeing something enormous moving among the trees and led them to an abandoned mansion near a cliff. According to Emma, the mansion's former owner was obsessed with werewolves, and the house might hold important clues for their investigation. The mansion was imposing and eerie. Old portraits adorned the walls, and the wind howled through the cracks, causing the windows to creak as if alive. Velma found an old diary on a table in the foyer, where the owner had recorded strange experiences during full moon nights. Fred heard footsteps upstairs and decided they needed to thoroughly investigate the house. Despite the intimidating atmosphere, the team knew they couldn't pass up the opportunity to solve the mystery. On the second floor, Daphne discovered a locked room, and Fred broke open the door to enter. Inside was a room full of documents and equipment suggesting genetic experiments. Velma deduced that the mansion's former owner had been attempting to recreate legendary creatures. Fred found a vial containing a strange liquid on one of the tables, but before they could examine it carefully, a deafening howl echoed from outside, putting everyone on high alert. Rushing to the window, they saw a massive, hairy creature walking through the mansion's garden. Scooby barked frantically, while Shaggy searched for a place to hide. Fred decided it was time to set a trap using what they had found in the mansion. The group quickly divided tasks to prepare their plan, using their skills to ensure the creature would be captured and unmasked before it could cause more chaos. The trap was crafted with an old projector to distract the creature, while Velma prepared cables to activate an improvised cage. Scooby, reluctant, was chosen as bait, accompanied by Shaggy, who carried pieces of meat to lure the monster. The plan seemed risky, but it was their best chance to catch the mysterious creature. When the creature appeared, its movements seemed strangely artificial, as if something was off. The creature fell into the trap, and Fred and Velma cautiously approached. Upon removing part of the fur, they revealed that it was actually a person wearing a highly advanced technological suit. To everyone's surprise, Emma confessed to being behind it. She had used the suit to scare visitors and keep the island isolated. Her motivation was to protect the interests of a corporation that wanted to exploit the island's natural resources. Emma explained that the disappearances were part of a plan to drive tourists away. A secret boat was used to remove people before they could report what they had seen. The group was shocked by the revelation, but felt relieved to have finally solved the mystery. Fred assured that the authorities would be informed, while Velma documented everything to ensure the festival organizers had enough evidence to act. Back at the festival, Mystery Inc. detailed the events to the organizers, who promised to report the case. The island, now free from the mystery, could return to normal. Daphne suggested turning the werewolf legend into a tourist attraction to draw visitors, while Velma emphasized the importance of preserving the island's natural environment. Scooby and Shaggy, meanwhile, were already thinking about their next snack. As the group prepared to leave, a distant howl echoed across the island, momentarily halting their farewell. Scooby, terrified, hid behind Shaggy, who also looked frightened. "Perhaps not all mysteries are solved," Fred remarked with an enigmatic smile. Velma gazed at the sky, where the full moon shone brightly, as the boat drifted away from the island. As the island faded into the horizon, the group began discussing their next adventure. Scooby finally relaxed, savoring a snack he had saved. Daphne, however, glanced back one last time, as if expecting to see something emerge from the mist. "Scooby-Doo, where are you?" echoed as the final line, marking the end of another mystery solved by the gang.